A tempestuous start for FaZe as yet again Sentinels picks up the big win. They're now up 2-0 in the grand finals, and they need but one more map to close things out and take home that first place trophy. Welcome back to the NA Masters. My name is Bach. Joining me on the broadcast, Veli, Vansili, and Potter to break down the action here on the Analyst desk. Looking at that second map and now transitioning into the third. Some of the things we noticed from that first map, Veli, towards the tail end, FaZe started to get a little passive, a little more pensive. They were starting to get a little bit scared, not playing the way that we want to see them play, and that kind of carried over into that first part of this second map.
You know, I actually come in and I applaud FaZe. They had short-term memory. They said, you know what, forget that map. Forget about a SEN. We're going to start off the game aggressive here. And they tried it, and we all saw what happened. It was the typical FaZe pistol round push where, you know, you have Raze and Babybay going crazy down B long, but what happened? It was baited perfectly. Sentinels knew that was going to happen, and they had people on the corners, and they were able to get those 2 kills quite easily. We saw Marv push out of showers as well. Tins was waiting there to pick him off. That stopped any type of flanks that we were accustomed to seeing from FaZe, and that's pretty much why we saw a lack of it. And also, it's more than just flanks. Last map, FaZe had 15 first bloods. 15! Babybay had 7. That's crazy, right? This map alone, they had 8. There was a big difference in playstyle, and Sentinels know that if they can slow down FaZe, kind of like what Potter was talking about last segment, there's like, whenever you go to the late and end game scenarios, things look a little bit easy. Even though FaZe makes it close, Sentinels clearly have an upper hand in those scenarios.
Yeah, I think, again, looking back to what Sean was saying, it comes down to the lack of agents that can watch flanks, right?
Yep.
I'm not talking about the team Sentinels, but the agents as Sentinels. No Cypher, no Killjoy. You saw a lot of these flanks happening from Sentinels where those first bloods came in. And then when we changed the pace on the attacker side for FaZe, and we decided to push as a group faster, and we kind of dialed up a bit and switched that second gear that we know FaZe could do, they started to get a lot of that max control post-plan situations, but the retakes were just really good for Sentinels in the end. You saw the Rolling Thunders as well from Zachary at some point to only pick up the spike because they were afraid of a flank coming in from 10s before. So it shows how much they were respecting Sentinels on this map. On a map that Sentinels was continuously banning going into the grand finals here. So yes, we may see a closer series on the third map, hopefully, but Haven was also bad news bears for FaZe against Sentinels.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is their playground in general, but it might be a little bit easier for Babybay to open up on a map like Haven. Bind typically is not the best map for Jets, and we saw that struggle there, Potter, for Babybay. But in addition to that, you know, it's kind of like a duality of Jet. Not so great on Bind, and also when he's not playing well, we talked about it coming into this second map, the team ultimately falls a little bit short. They're going to need him to step up again. Do you think that maybe that was just Bind playing the Bind curse against Jets, and he can kind of unlock that Babybay Smeeg moving into the third map?
I think so. I think a little bit of it is that, and I don't even think he's not playing well. You know, Babybay's still playing well, but at a certain point, there's just too much on your plate, too many responsibilities, too many angles that you have to be aware of. And I want to touch a little bit more on the Sentinels point because we are going to Haven, and we've seen FaZe in this scenario before. They're so great at getting into those sites. They're so great at utilizing Zachary's breach and Babybay's aggression in tandem. But in those post-plan scenarios, that's where things get a little bit tricky. That's where you see some of FaZe members, one foot in, one foot out. Some worried about the flank, some worried about what's in front of you. And that sort of 50-50 that you place yourself in just makes it too much on your plate. So I want to see a different looking FaZe. Either just keep pressing W, get into their faces and spawn in those close plants, or just pivot back and have some sort of mid-round audible, which actually we have seen FaZe do fairly decently as they start ramping up in these series.
And a map like this, Bach, is actually pretty scary because FaZe's strength becomes their biggest weakness, in my opinion. Right now, everybody in the chat, whenever Sentinels win, you know, everybody out there, tens, he's, you know, the greatest. But he won't be able to do all that without Shazam's help. And the way Shazam has this team playing as the IGL with 0 practice, like, okay, they're playing well. I expect Sentinels to abuse the empty lanes and also the aggressive pushes out of the extremities on the sides of the map. If they're able to do that and get those easy kills like we saw in B-Long, where you're able to take out both Corey and Babybay, that is the biggest blow to FaZe you could possibly have. And I think that Shazam is going to make sure they attack their credits and their life every single round if they want to push out and start a fight.
Something else to think about too is, you know, technically when you look at teams that are strong on Haven, it's teams who have really good Sentinel players. Something that FaZe typically doesn't rock in their composition. They go a little bit more
Lately,
flash and dash.
Yep.
So that
could
could be
work for 'em.
problematic for them. Looking at that last map, Dapper was the top performer for Sentinels.
Yeah.
And that could carry over potentially here, Vansily, because this is a playground for Sentinels.
Yeah, and Zachary did look good at some moment in time later on in FaZe when he was using that Cypher towards that site, but they look a lot better with Zachary playing over to that breach. I gotta say though, when it comes down to these fights, I think Haven is gonna be very close again, because these are two teams that when I see them on half buys with Buckies, with Stingers, with Spectres, they could actually win those force buys. So I'm expecting another bloodbath in this third map.
FaZe is teetering on the edge of destruction, but even as we say that, it's still second place. It's not the worst thing, but they want that gold medal. They want that trophy. We heard it from Corey yesterday. He wants to beat them so bad. It's a third map to see if they can continue fighting in the series or if Sentinels is going to close things out in typical Sentinels fashion. Let's jump right into the action with the casters to find out who's taking it.
I'm muted, of course. Of course, it had to happen at least one time in the grand finals. But yeah, thank you very much, Bog. I think he set it up really nicely, Sean. It's a tough look for FaZe. You know, I think the Analysts were definitely looking for silver linings for them to come back in the series. We're going to Haven. Where do you stand on this one? What are the win conditions for FaZe? Like,
I mean, normally I think FaZe is so good on Haven. It's a map that suits them, right? 3 bomb sites, the rotations are kind of crazy. They can play chaotic, and it plays into their favor. But they're going into the Haven gods. Sentinels, I mean, if I'm being honest, I mean, they were on an insane streak to start this year on Haven. I think they were 16, 15-0, something like that on Haven. They lost 1 game to Envy, 13-9. And then they bounced back and beat 100 Thieves and beat FaZe Clan. So they don't lose very much on this map, Dan, is what I'm getting at. And if FaZe wants to win this map, they're going to have to play their style of aggression. And they're going to have to be really, really successful in the opening duels.
I think at least one plus is the fact that they do have experience playing this map against Sentinels very recently. And although they did get kind of wrecked, there is a lot of data to like know what was working, what was not working, what do they struggle with, how can they deal with it.
Exactly. And when you look at these two teams, their styles of winning are very different, right? When you look at Sentinels, a lot of their wins come from people falling into traps. Shazam creating these really good anti-strats and tricky plays that mess with their opponents because it goes into the things that they used to do. So he's trying to bait them. Where on Haven, you know, FaZe has experienced all this just a couple days ago, right? They know what made Sentinels successful, and that was a very close game. It came down to the wire, and it wasn't for Sick jumping out of heaven and ulting backside A, which was one of the most incredible Phoenix plays I've ever seen. You know, or the 10s dagger kills on A side on that retake. FaZe actually had them, you know, against the wall in that game. They just kind of faltered a little bit at the end. Fixing up those things, you know, this is all of a sudden FaZe's game.
Yeah, and there might be a lot of confidence like watching that map back, because when you're a player playing the game, it feels very differently, like where you actually lost certain moments or plays or the game. Like it feels very different from being in the game, experiencing it, and then when you look at it and you can see everything playing out, it actually might not look nearly as bad as you think. It may just be the case that, like you said, there was a couple over performances coming in from Sentinels in key moments, but otherwise, like statistically speaking, what you did was probably really good. So we'll see.
I'm gonna say this though, Dan. One difference, Corey on this Phoenix, he typically goes with the Raze. So I think this is an adjustment given the fact that maybe FaZe watched that VOD back, right, and saw Sick's success on the Phoenix. Now he's farming all these orbs everywhere, and Corey's like, I want to do that. I mean, I'm insane. Let me do that. So I think we're gonna see the orb farming now coming out of Corey.
But here we go, map 3. Sentinels up 2-0 so far. FaZe fighting for their life in this best of 5 grand finals here for the North American Masters. Looking to start off well on this defense on Haven. Marv with some early info, TPing across, keeping himself safe. And then, speaking of info, the drone is burned by Raucus to see what's going on in mid. And Tens with a spike. Might go for the dash plant play. Might not even need to dash it. Actually, just uses the cloud burst. There goes the plant. They're playing for B.
Corey's on. or he's actually going to opt to not pick flank. And Zach takes out Tens with the aftershock. That's a massive find. He couldn't dash away.
Oh, and the fault line over towards the box, under window. That's huge. 2 players are stuck in that position, and now they're going to get the spike at least halfway, I think. In fact, I think Raucus came off of it, but Sentinels are defending so good, and the frags are just not being found here by FaZe. Although Raucus, in the 1 versus 2, these players are weak, but he has to be perfect upon the peaks, but he's not getting given anything here to work with. Oof. It's just too difficult at this point.
From the Sentinels players.
I thought that FaZe had that in the bag. That retake after the aftershock, coming in 5v4, the fault line was perfect. Still wasn't good enough.
Yeah, the defense on that garage door, you could see Sentinels, they know what FaZe's plan is. They know FaZe likes to flank this B hit, right? They like to either push down C or push out garage. And Dapper waited for the C push and it never happened. So they changed positions. You know, they were double focused on that door, that tiny choke point. And FaZe just couldn't get out. That was the turning point of the round.
Now the question is, what do we do on the eco? We don't see anything crazy from FaZe. I think we've talked about this before. They often are going to spread out. Not looking to group up anywhere. Or he's seeing if he can get some info outside of garage. Does see nothing grass. Drone is heard by FaZe towards A, so that will force them to fully rotate towards that A site. The Sentinels are most likely going to try to just fake this. We can see the spike is moving towards C long at this point.
Yeah, this is Sentinels playing into this FaZe style, right? FaZe, like you mentioned, they spread the map at the start of the eco, and then they get a little bit of info. Corey peeks out garage, sees nothing. They hear the drone A. All right, let's all stack A. So Sentinels, 1 step ahead, is going to send a small fake A and actually probably end up sending it C.
What's also awesome
some pressure. Oh, they throw the cam.
They got the orb for Sick as well. So Sick could even get double orbs this round.
They're doing it, aren't they? They're giving him all the orbs.
Yeah, that's actually genius. And
Look, he's not even planting the spike, so that way Sick could get it.
Oh, that would be sick if they gave it to Sick.
Oh. I think Sick got the orb at long C. He tapped it.
Yeah, he did. He got that one as well as the A long orb.
Oof.
Oh,
Dapper, they're hunting him.
So Dapper will go down. That's nice. Pick up the Spectre. And now it's starting to find exit kills if possible. Might try to swarm Shazam here. They know he's stuck Cubby, but there is a lot of players protecting him.
1 enemy remaining.
Couple players going down here now. Stack for 3 going down. Once again, Sean, you know, I feel like FaZe did a great job in how much damage they were able to get out of the rounds, given that they had no investment.
Yeah, exactly. They're on these ecos, they're doing tons of economic damage to Sentinels. But one thing to look out for, we mentioned it there, Sick got 2 orbs that round. He's now 1 off of the run it back on this bonus round. I would expect him to get that at C. That is the most common thing that a Phoenix in this scenario would do. If Sentinels is going to play tricky, he would go A and they would do something A. But you can see that's their goal. They're going to get Sick this orb. He's going to run it back probably immediately into the C site. And it's all on Babybay.
It's all on Babybay. I like those odds. As the orb picked up. That's a lot of info for Babybay as well. There it goes, just as you said. Opted instantly. And there goes Ken. Great pick onto Zach. Still backside control for FaZe, but how long can they hold it? Babybay goes down. Corey goes down. Backside is lost. And now the plant can be had onto C. And it seems like it might just be done and dusted here in this round for FaZe. You all burned by Sentinels. That's a great effect.
Man, I love that this is how this match is playing out, Dan, because, you know, it just shows how important these orbs are in how the game is currently set up, right? You win the pistol, you get a couple eco kills, and if your Phoenix is farming the orbs, he'll have his ult on this bonus round. And then all of a sudden, your bonus round, you're playing a 6-on-5. You're not playing a fair game anymore. They're in a massive advantage in this bonus round. And FaZe felt it. I mean, they just ran down C site with that extra man. Oh, crazy how Sentinels find so much success in this run it back. Ten's opening up with the daggers, Sick getting 2. Round's just over.
They might want to get either Raucous or Babybay onto the orb on A long, but they're going to have a fight for that because it does look like the challenge may come here for Sentinels. Oh yeah, they're really challenging this one, trying to punish. And oh, Baby's going to pick up the knives. He's going to take down Dapper. Dashes away. And there might be some problems here. Corey would be really good. If Corey could get one somehow,
He has the
Sentinels
spike
are in quite a problem. Oh, he does have the spike. And indeed, it might be quite problematic, but the lurk there from Spawn should surely catch Corey, but he's out of there, actually. Spike collected.
So slippery.
Babybay's down, so it does fall to Corey now. If they rotate through to his position, he might be able to do something here to get FaZe back into the rounds. Lost one. Got to connect the headshot, but it's just not happening. That was the chance. You got to be perfect. And it doesn't happen there. Zach able to pick up a weapon, but he will be punished. And it's a clean 4-0 start for Sentinels in Haven.
Ooh, and that's what you don't want to see, you know, if you're a FaZe fan at home. Corey missing a shot. That is a rare sight to see. Corey's aim is one of the most... He has the most true aim, probably, in NA. I watch him play aim lab. This guy gets 140K. I've never... He's a robot, Dan. How is that even possible? I don't even know. So the fact that he misses those share shots, super unlucky for FaZe. Go into this 5th round. They need to get a round on the board here on their defense.
Protecting all that utility Sick. Throwing a curveball to counter any mid-aggression. But interesting, this is a bait, actually, from FaZe. I think they were suggesting that they were rushing down mid and wanted to provoke a reaction, I think, into the A setup.
Very smart. They got the drone out of Shazam. They got a flash as well. I think that's really good from FaZe, right? They have Sentinels on the back foot, and now Sentinels has to use an extra piece of utility to clear the map.
I just love how they're thinking so far, but they have to win the battles. Zach, I think he got caught off guard there.
I know exactly.
Wasn't quite ready. Babybay also, I mean, it's just insane. The presence of mind, the cognizance from Tens. And just like that, it's a 3 versus 5.
You're probably...
Make that a 2 versus 5.
Oof. Dapper doing what he does best, just sliming around the map, just all by himself, picking off that 3rd player, securing the rounds.
I thought it was, I really wanted to see FaZe get rewarded too, because they conditioned, I mean, I feel like they would have anybody conditioned. Well, hang on. I gotta hold that thought right there because Marv's gonna pick up a couple kills. There's a lot of time on the spike still for FaZe to be able to pull this one off. The one in the smoke, that's Sick. Well, all the chances quickly plummet. That's 5-0 locked in by Sentinels, but yeah, I was just gonna say that it's smart that FaZe were trying to show that aggression by using utility to fake, trying to force a response, just capitalizing on the fact that they know their opponents expect them to be aggressive. So it's an extra dimension to their play, which I like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a much different FaZe than we saw before Coach Trippy joined their team. He's cleaned up their game quite a bit. Now FaZe, this has to be a attack timeout coming from FaZe. You can see they're on an eco, now they're down 5-0 in this map. It is potentially tournament map for them, down 2-0 in this series. How do they respond? I mean, Sick is 1 orb again away from his ult, so I don't even think he cares much about it this round because FaZe has no money. But if he did care about it, they could just do that same C play where he grabs the orb and they don't even need to go C. They could take the run it back and go somewhere else. This guy's like the CEO of runitback.gg.
Yeah, it's pretty scary to have that available so often. It just feels like, and it's just crazy that your duelists, your like star players can just like have this extra life. It just, the level of confidence on a player like Sick as well is just unshakable.
Oh, that's brutal. Great camp from Dapper, allows Sick to take out Marv through the dark cover.
Oh, Dapper takes it! He checks it, even though the drone, it seemed like the drone kind of cleared it. He still checks that. Oh, this guy, if nothing, you can't pull the wall over his eyes.
No, you can't. You can't out-rat a rat himself. Cypher's They are very aware.
Here goes the playthrough. Dashing in, actually. That's actually quite smart, but it's so sad for FaZe because...
The second Dapper makes that presence and detects 2 people, they're already C. They're already through garage.
From B pressure, they have the C side though. Sick gets the plant, even though he already has the run it back. Then give him the plant. And it's just a cleanup once again.
One enemy remaining.
FaZe looking right now like they have nothing. They've got no answers for what is happening.
We got the selfie at the end from Dapper. Oh man. Oh man, Corey is at 0-6. It's looking a little bit rough for FaZe here. Oh man, Dapper's so aware. The 2 frags on the A lobby players right there, punishing the first A lobby aggression FaZe has shown. And they're gonna try it one more time. Babybay is gonna go over there with Corey. The 2-star duelists are doubling up on A, but they're sending it C. Again, the run it back is ready to go C, as well as Shaz's ult. This recon, they're gonna let it triple ping, Dan.
The thing,
I'm scared.
Raucus does have Hunter's Fury, and if the paranoia connects from Marv, then he gets rid of the running back straight away. There goes the recon. There goes the paranoia. Rolling Thunder comes through. Hunter's Fury will be used by Shazam to try to counter all of this. And in fact, Raucus is going to go down before I think that he can even do anything. And Dapper's holding on to C window, and it's a 2 versus 5. And in fact, they didn't even try to set foot on site ultimately. And it's still a 2 versus 5.
It looks so good. What happened? Tens had an op.
I have no idea.
Sentinels quietly allows everything to reset. Both of these FaZe players not on the C site. Oh, it's so brutal to watch. But Sentinels, this is a masterful gameplay by them. I mean, this entire game plan on Haven has been perfect. Absolutely perfect. There's so many flawless rounds we've seen, or rounds where only one Sentinels player will fall. They're all over FaZe right now. And we know how good FaZe is on those duels.
Exactly. And if you look at the setup there just at the beginning, sure, it's not the case that necessarily that, a C play is expected by FaZe. As we see them kind of hold on to this operator. It's like they should be good. But they don't expect it, but it is spotted by Marv. He kills the running back straight away before it can gain any space. And that means that also there's like a second or two where Sick can't really move. So at that point, then the paranoia is ready to get sent. It goes out. And so in so doing, they're prevented, Sentinels are prevented from gaining space onto the site. So it looks at that point like very good because the Hunter's Fury is available for Raucus. But that was the moment, I think, where it all turned around because Dapper's played through Garage. And Tens just with the updraft around C long, somehow they just converted back. I'd have to watch that again, Sean, because I really feel like FaZe was really favorable, but...
Yeah, I mean, we both thought that, and then we blinked, and all of a sudden we're in a 2-on-5, you know? And Sentinels pulled the FaZe. They allowed all of that retake energy to just fade away, and then they just got the kills. And that's exactly what FaZe does when they approach sites.
Oh, it's a big mid-aggression coming in from FaZe, though. Running back is popped instantly by Sick. Just in his stride, doesn't care. It looks easy. Drone fight going to be won there by Sentinels. They have info Garage. It will be smoked by Marv, so I'm not sure if FaZe have actually checked this. So I don't know if they may still feel like there could be a player already past this smoke. Zach is going to check that to get that info. In the meantime, Sentinels rotate to C, and Raucus, very nice jump peek, avoids getting tagged by Tens.
Yeah, we've seen Tens get quite a few of those this tournament on the jump peek. Dapper again on this lurk. He's finding so much success opening up the rounds, and the ult is gonna... Oh, that's brutal for FaZe. All the locations revealed.
And, well, that gives him the confidence to send it. This can only now at this point be changed by some excellent sheriff work, but flashes are coming through from both sides. Corey's out there, unable to take down Zoms. Very good gunplay from Zoms. And now once again, Babybay playing Save Simulator 2021, holding onto the operator. And Babybay
he has no choice.
We have not talked about him, Sean, because he has been avoided systematically, round by round, he's just not he's not able to have impact. He's not in any plays early to mid round.
Yeah, and it seems like whenever the Sentinels players detect him somewhere, where he throws a smoke, where they hear an up trap, where they hear an op shot, where they see him dash somewhere, they leave. They leave every time. I've never seen them challenge him. And you could see the frustration that must be there for FaZe just watching this round, right? Corey wants to open up the round. He wants to be involved. So what does he do? He uses his run it back and he just wants to send it down mid. He wants to get involved in the game. He wants to take a gunfight and use his skills. He immediately got sent back by Sick. Just an immediate headshot from Sick to send him back. And then the camera pans over to Babybay. Dapper's jiggle peeking short A, making him miss a shot, and he wastes his dash to get away. It's like, oh, the star duelists that FaZe got here by are just having such a hard time. And I can't help but give Sentinels the credit for that. It's definitely not Babybay and Corey having a bad game.
Yeah, I totally agree. It doesn't seem like there's these openings or opportunities at all for them, and they're trying to get Babybay in the action. He's going to be moving around towards B right now, so maybe he can find something early on. I think he's on top of the structure, indeed. Sitting on top of B. Seeing if he can find anything, but nothing given. Aggression around A lobby here. Very aggressive take from FaZe. They want to take the fight to Sentinels, but again, Sentinels winning the battles. Oh my god, they want to go straight through the cage here. Not dropping a beat, pushing it forwards. Momentum is strong with Sentinels. FaZe though, they've got 3 players here. Babybay's repositioned. He's on short. He's going to be there with Corey. And they can play a bait setup. So he'll take a shot, fall back, and then Corey's the close player. So it's that contact setup there. And it relies on Sentinels re-execing in towards this A setup.
The recon again, it triple pings and gets nothing. Look at the rotate, Dan. The setup you described is just disintegrating before our eyes, and now Corey has it all to do 1-on-4.
Oh my god, he somehow lives. That's insane. And there goes the TP from Zoms to try to punish. Knowing that they've rotated out of position, Zoms is in a key location now, denying that control. He can represent flanks from that position as well. So much to worry about if you're FaZe. And there goes the pick from Zoms. Babybay in the action though, unable to find what he's looking for on that next go of it. As now they try to clear Heaven. They've got to understand, is Marv still up in that, or rather, sorry, is Zoms up in that position still? Babybay goes close. Oh no, what? I think they just walked past each other in the smoke, Sean. Oh no, that's, okay, he dropped out of the window. That's my mistake. As it looks like the coordination is going to come through here. FaZe, they're looking for something. Babybay's looking for something, but it goes to 10. Babybay able to take down one more. Another from Babybay, but the problem is that there's no time. There's 2 players remaining. He can't do it all by himself. Trading out his teammates with the operator. There's only so much one man can do in this position. And FaZe are still staring at a big old donut on the scoreboard, Sean.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, you're setting the scene perfectly, Dan, because there's nothing Babybay can do right now. He's trying to get activated in this game. He's trying to be aggressive. He's trying to open up the rounds. It's just he's getting avoided, and there's little instances like Rocket's reconning long, and that recon arrow triple picking, so he falls off of his line. You know, he's trusting the utility from his teammates, and Sentinels are just 200 IQing FaZe right now. Like, they're moving Babybay to the wrong spot every time. Oh, it's painful to watch because he's not having a bad game. He's hitting his shots. It's just he finds himself in these weird, impossible retake scenarios.
This might be the moment, though. He does have a better position. Corey's close with the charge. Oh, and he's been protected as well. Corey could maybe try to make a play here. Here's the orb get collected. What does he decide to do? There's Babybay. Has the knives out as well. Swapping out the operator to Shazam.
That's awesome. Babybay gives the op over to Zach, takes the Blade Storm out. What an amazing player he is. But here's Sentinels regrouping, going A. No one's at A right now, but Marv Smoke will stop the long hit. They have Raucus rotating, his recon's recharging, and by the time Sentinels gets here, if you look, Babybay, Raucus, and Marv will all be in the side.
Great opening pick there from Babybay as they Sentinels desperately try to get in this side, but now they might have to call a reset in the board because they are going to struggle to get through these choke points, using their utility to try to do it, but very difficult. Babybay flying around, soaring through the site, and in the air, he'll try to get it done, but Shazam picks him out the sky like a clay pigeon. the trade is good. And this is one of those few, maybe the only round I feel like, Sean, where FaZe actually made the right guess on the rotations of Sentinels.
Yeah, absolutely. They needed to guess right on that rotation, and that's exactly what they did. Zachary with an amazing opening pick, something that they haven't really had much of in this game. And look at this. FaZe is definitely setting up for mid-aggression. Sentinels also setting up for mid-aggression. We're going to have an absolute war right here.
Curious who is going to be left standing at the end of this brawl in mid and grass. I think they're sending out the curveball, and in fact, FaZe not going too aggressive here. They're holding their ground. Power burst. Babybay pulls back. The flashback goes out. Is Corey able to find the follow-ups? Babybay flies in. Corey able to trade. In fact, not even trade. He just straight up takes down 10s. And now Sentinels have to adjust. Rourke is able to get the shock dart there. Anticipates the fallback from Sig. Punishes and FaZe. They're taking the fight straight to Sentinels. And Sentinels are struggling to stay alive. It's just Zoms. And it is quite the brawl, but FaZe, they're making Sentinels dance to their tune. And Zach, he gets the wallbang from B as well with the operator. Love to see those. And that's 2 rounds from the boards. It is not very much to work with, but at least it is something.
Yeah, it is something. They're giving themselves a chance right now, right? The 9-2 scoreline doesn't look promising. But FaZe just needs some points on the board. Just needs something to work with in the next half. And everyone played a part that round. Rockus pushing down mid, Zachary opening with the op, Corey and Babybay in garage holding it down. That was a really cool setup, by the way. The dash updraft over the doors, that's so sick.
Same opening here from Sentinels. Aggression around a long for Dapper. Move out of the cage, lurking as he does. Sentinels have the opening picks though, as they win battles across the map, and this is very confusing. It's once again up to the individuals. The neural death comes through. Babybay wants to punish, trying to find Dapper. Where is he gone? He's going to find Holden. Just Dapper takes down 10s, giving Raucus maybe something to work with, but he's being waited for by Sig. Sig is not going to miss those. 10 rounds for Sentinels to 2 for FaZe at the end of the first half. And of course, Sentinels are up 2 maps. They are 3 round wins away in this half from taking the title here, the NA Masters title.
Oof. I mean, FaZe has been known for some crazy heroics, but this 10-2 comeback, this would top it all, in my opinion. If they can come back in this game, this is where history is made, Dan. Do you believe?
You got to believe. You've got to believe in FaZe. You got to believe in their shenanigans, their aggression, their insane confidence. Maybe the most confident team, along with Sentinels, in the game.
Oh, a shorty. I'm a believer. Let's go. Babybay with the shorty. You must want to go in garage with that thing.
Love to see the shorty on the jet. There's the dash, the updraft. Oh, and he absolutely nails Sick. And that's the way you want to start it. Marv does go down in the meantime, though, on seed long. And Sentinels have backside under control. That's Dapper's job. Hold on to backside. And he's doing a damn fine job turning away from the breach flash, but will get punished. Thoms creeps around the side. They don't know about it, but Raucus is going to be able to defend. The reaction is good from FaZe as they take the pistol. I think that's a sigh of relief breathed from everybody who wants to see all the rounds, just like yourself, Sean. FaZe give themselves something to work from, but they've got to be perfect.
Yeah, that's the problem with having a half like that, right? I have tons of faith in FaZe's attacking half of Haven, but you're really giving yourself very little wiggle room here with with a 10-2 scoreline at half. FaZe doesn't have many to give away, and they especially cannot give away this anti-eco right now, Dan.
Revealing area.
Sentinels so damn good right now. Always scary. That Marshall on 10s. He actually will be able to rotate in towards A in time, so we've got to watch out for that. Corey, great pace on him. Hot hands will slow down the push, but the frags, the entries are coming regardless for FaZe. They've done a really great job here. Dapper, man. Oh my god, can you believe this guy? Oh, Marv is going to have to pull back off that. Flash, though, from Corey to play counter to Sentinels. Oh,
player
dear. Sick,
standing.
able to pick off one more. Sentinels, they're so damn good. Just each and every player from Sentinels with their own identity in the game. Their own unique things to have to watch out for. And Dapper, as you said, he just always gets more than you'd ever expect from any given scenario. Oh, he's got such a good read of this. He's creeping through the cracks, and he's going to find a frag because of it. Shorty comes out, no time to pull the trigger, but that's excellent damage. We talked about how, you know, we're praising FaZe a lot for getting damage like that in these rounds, and praise goes the same way for Sentinels. Getting 3 kills in a round like that is huge. And now the full gun round. Pretty much 2 Spectres in play, but otherwise it is Vandals and Phantoms everywhere.
This is where the comeback is built, Dan. Off the back of Corey's run it back. On this A push right now. The recon's coming towards the site from Ruckus. I'm not sure what Babybay has planned. It looks like he might lurk on this round, so he could be someone to look out for.
So recon Corey going deep here. Oh no, Soms with the perfect timing. He's so damn good. Soms finds a key kill, and that might ruin the day for FaZe. Unless they can find a way to recover. They do at least get the trade, so responsible stuff from FaZe, but drone comes through. Sick has to use the curveball to get info.
Cam. Dan, over there at C, Babybay went in garage, broke Dapper's cam, and put a lot of pressure over there.
Off with the dark cover. Sending it Heaven. We've seen Sick from this position before. There goes the curveball. Doesn't have to run it back this time. So all his curveball's gone. Has the hot hands. He can delay a plant. Oh, waiting for that catch. And it's down to Babybay's position, as you said, Sean. He's managed to get his way over the trip into that C site. He's got to win the battle against Dapper. Oh, dashing into the trip. That might actually be beneficial. That trip is now gone. Dapper playing the smoke with Babybay, and Babybay's damn good, but Dapper also so good in those scenarios around those smokes. Shazam with the creep out mid, out B, finds Zach, and that just leaves now one to challenge him. Raucus will find it. Very little time to plant the spike now as he tries to charge forward. Doesn't really have time to go to the A site, but he might have to. Gonna opt to go for the stick there, and it's just no time. There's so many players. Sentinels all over him.
Yeah, it's like Sentinels isn't giving them any room to breathe. They're playing that FaZe style. Dapper hears Babybay in the C site. What a bad man! He goes challenges him one-on-one. I mean, would you go challenge that guy one-on-one with all of his movement abilities that he's been using?
I mean, it's insane because, as you said, it's an insane prospect to have the confidence to challenge him there. And if Babybay wins that fight, then you feel like the round is very advantageous for FaZe.
Yes, exactly. He picks up that rifle. Everything changes. The challenge early from Zombs on the run it back. That's round. Oh, they're coming short.
Looking to go big on this A side. Corey pops to run it back there. The shot guard actually takes it down. There goes the breach flash. Sick as they were maintaining position. There goes Babybay out of nowhere. On top of the crates. And slides the flank. It's looking really, really bad and desperate again. Although FaZe able to find some of those return frags to get it into an even scenario 2v2, but Tens with the movement, Dapper with the find as well. And that's 12-4, that's match in series, that's grand finals, that's a master's point here for Sentinels. They are so close to lifting the trophy, and FaZe have it all to do.
Oh, FaZe now find themselves down 8. We said it, Tens activated on that flank. Just had so much success. So much success as the stand-in for Sentinels. They are so close to taking this championship. They could taste it right now.
My eyes are down.
The presence around C here coming through for Sentinels on the defense. Babybay pops the Blade Storm. Dapper dealing with Corey straight away. Raucus able to punish the play through a lobby, so that's going to open up the A side of the map. But Shazam, he's going aggressive. You wouldn't expect this. You would never expect that from Shazam. He takes down Raucus, who was hoping that the site would be for free. Why would there be somebody there? And now FaZe in a terrible position. Zach and Marv against 4 to try to save FaZe's chances in this grand finals. as Dapper tags Zach even more. It's looking so bad. They know where Marv is as well. And Sentinels start to circle. They start to enclose around the FaZe players. They smell blood. It's in the water. And they want to finish it off. And Tens is looking to do it in style. Marv, 2 HP left. Here comes a dagger with his name on it. But it's going to be Sick who's going to get it done. And that's a wrap. 3-0 Grand Final. Sentinels are the champions for the NA Masters here in Valorant. And it looked good all the way through.
Couldn't have said it any better, Dan. Sentinels, clearly the best team we have here in NA, behind the back of their star in-game leader Shazam. They pick up, you know, the best free agent ever the day before the playoffs begin, right? Where do you get this other than esports? It's such an insane storyline. Tens joins this team a day before Masters. They rally through, they don't drop a single series, and they 3-0 the finals. This is a very special team.
You can't
very
make it
special.
up. You can't make it up. The storylines were insane as well, and just as well, I love the content pieces we had around Shazam. Especially, I think very relevant is what his approach to being an IGL and like how he leads the team and how loose they're playing. You're telling us as well how Sentinels have effectively taken a few pages out of the book of FaZe, and they've used that to beat FaZe. And I mean, that is a team that deserves a trophy, and that is exactly what they have now.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, let's not forget about a player like Zoms. The community's been so hard on him. He's found tremendous success. Sick, potentially one of probably the best duelist in NA as far as his agent pool and everything goes. Oh man, there's just so much to say about this team, right? And just how successful they are. So nothing but praise goes their way. They've struggled through roster changes, through craziness the day before this playoffs, to all the nonsense of the freezing in Texas where they couldn't practice. They've overcome all that. So, I mean, what's your excuse if you're not beating Sentinels? Because these guys are the best.
They are the best. And to talk more about that, it's time to send it over one last time to Bot and the analysts.
I mean, Sean kind of touched on it there. It feels like everything that possibly could have gotten in the way of Sentinels finding a victory here happened, and yet they still end up prevailing. They still end up being our Masters 1 champions. So hats off to them. But before we spend too much time praising Sentinels, we got to also give some credit to FaZe. This is not a team that anyone would have expected to make it to this point coming into this tournament, Valley. I don't think that anyone had them even picked making it out of the first round of the bracket play until we saw that last Challengers event, when we saw what they could do with this revamped Smeeg-esque style of play.
Yeah, you really have to put it all into the big picture when you have to think about it all, right? FaZe was a team that we loved them, but at the same time, that was a hard-headed group of players, and they didn't want to change their play style. They believed that their style would work, but they were consistently losing. I think one Challengers, they didn't even win a map. Then when it came to that Challengers 3, baby, they came out the gate swinging, showed us a play style that we're not accustomed to in NA, and they dominated their way to the finals. Hats off to them. Trippy, Babybay, Marv, every single one of them. They play lights out, and I just hope that they don't take this loss too hard, because they have showed us all so much more that we never knew was even possible in Valorant.
Let's be real too. Coming into this event, Sentinels was largely considered the best in North America. Some people would even say potentially the best in the world. I won't be bold enough to make that statement, but the bar was set here, and then they add Tens, and it skyrockets through the ceiling. So the expectations were very high for this Sentinels roster, and I don't think a lot of people came into this final series and thought, okay, yeah, this is going to be a really close game. I think FaZe is going to keep it tight. If FaZe was able to do that, that would have been incredibly impressive. It would have illustrated just how powerful this team has gotten over the last couple of months since the start of 2021. You know, I still got to look back, though. Look back to 2020 and what was going on with this FaZe roster back then. They've definitely changed gears, and things are working for them. And I think that given enough time, maybe another month or so, adapting to this new playstyle and working with the coach, we could see them giving it their all, going 5 maps with a team like Sentinels. And silly, I kind of wonder, though, we've talked about this all tournament long, how sustainable is the style of play that we see from FaZe? Because, again, they lean so heavily right now on Babybay.
Very sustainable, in my opinion, because the only time that they were able to drop series was literally versus Sentinels. They've beaten everybody else, and they've had Coach Trippy pretty much since first strike. If you've watched like a past interview from Babybay with a shout out to the Plat Chat boys, they've been working together with Trippy since then, and they've done nothing but improve. So I think this is definitely going to continue, for FaZe. I looked at this tournament, I looked at these teams, they both had question marks for me going into this one. Question marks for 100 Thieves too, question marks for a lot of teams, because even in 2021, we saw a rise of LG, we saw a rise of Immortals, and everybody is pretty much setting the tone and continuing their storyline in 2021, where even Masters 2, we don't even know who's going to be able to win this one.
We spent all that time and energy, though, Vansili, talking about Babybay and Tens.
Yeah.
That was the duel we were focusing on. Look at that last map and the map prior. It was Dapper, the Cypher, to step up. And again, something we've talked about in regards to the Sentinels roster, or this FaZe roster, excuse me, is the lack of a Sentinel. And then we see on the flip side, a Sentinel kind of giving it to him over the last 2 maps and putting up top performance numbers when he's got a player like Tens on the roster with him. That's pretty impressive stuff.
Definitely. I think not only did we see a lot of flanks coming in from Dapper, we saw a lot of flanks coming in from Tens. They really had control of this whole map. I mean, Sean was mentioning it. They were trying to activate Corey. They were trying to activate Babybay. No matter where they went, they were stopped by someone. And as much as we wanted to have like a nice highlight for any like flashy kills from any of these players from Sentinels, we can't really find one. And we couldn't really find one for FaZe either, because every single player were fighting individual 1 versus 1s, and they were super close every single time. So I think every single player stepped up. It was a great series, but you know what? I think NA, it's for sure now anchored in that Sentinels is our #1 team in North America.
Oh yeah, baby.
Now looking at the Verizon high-speed moment of the match, we got to go all the way back to map 1. It was looking really good for FaZe, and there was a possibility that FaZe could have forced this into a 4th map by picking up the win here, but it was a big retake. Shazam couldn't go big enough from the backside of sight, and the rest of the pieces started to fall. You know, Tens flies in with the classic, but it comes down to a 1v1. It ends up being Sick versus Marv. Marv goes for this port across, and he's able to drop Tens on the cross, but because of where he ported to and the time left on the clock, Sick was able to throw down the blaze wall and stick it. And the reason this round was so incredibly important, this was round 21. This was deep into that game when Sentinels still had the lead. Again, looking at map #1, Otter, Sentinels took the lead in round 23, literally right at the end of the game, and closed things out 13-11. Every round counted, and that was pivotal, because if they had lost that, it totally would have derailed things. We would likely be talking about map 4 and what to expect instead of talking about the series win for Sentinels here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the different kinds of reactions that you get out of these FaZe members, specifically Babybay, and those tense duels, dashing forward instead of backwards, re-aggressing instead of holding. There's just a lot of different variables that come into playing when you're playing up against FaZe. But it was good to see that Sentinels finally got the ground on their feet and started realizing what the plays were going to be. You saw those adjustments coming out, and man, Sentinels, they just look so good. I think this entire tournament long, we've just been seeing these creative plays. So many Omen TP plays. Marv coming out. Mame on top of Short A on Haven. The one-way smokes. Just this entire week has just been such a pleasure to watch this high tier 1 Valorant.
Well, we had plenty of opportunities to talk to Shazam throughout the week, whether it was about his own personal journey or it was about his preparatory style of approach to Valorant. So who better than him to close us out for our final interview presented by Verizon? He's standing by with Sue. Take it away, Sue.
Thank you very much, Bach. I could not have said it better myself. Such a pleasure to speak with you, Shazam, after a glorious 2 weeks that you have had with this team. You know, Shazam, 1 year ago, you led this team, and since then, there is no doubt that the Sentinels have been the most consistent team in North America. Through the ups and downs that you have faced, you come out on top time and time again. What does it mean to have all of that finally culminate in your first major title?
It's so relieving. We're definitely one of the hardest working teams, and that's what plays to our consistency. I just feel like we play the game so much. We just have reads on everyone we play. We're always one step ahead, and it just feels good to finally prove it, like at a major tournament. You know, we've had a lot of setbacks, a lot of things that we take 2 steps forward and then 10 steps back, and so it just feels really good to win this for us.
Absolutely. Your opponent in the grand finals was FaZe. FaZe made it damn clear they were so hungry at the opportunity for revenge, but you shut that down. FaZe and the record you have against them, it's actually 13-0 maps in a row. Sentinels always dominant over FaZe, but this time around, I have to say, despite the fact that it was 3-0, they did make it closer, especially on Ascent. So coming from yourself as the IGL, being someone who's faced them so many different times in officials, did you feel a difference in them this time around at NA Masters than in the past?
Yeah, they've definitely improved as a team. They're playing really confident. Individual players are like taking space. Like a lot of credit to them. They deserve to be in that final for sure. Ascent, I think we started a little cold too. We gave them too much respect. We are a little hesitant. So I'm glad we came back and closed it out. But we kind of had like a good talk after that. Like, we're playing a little hesitant. Our comms aren't necessarily like they normally are. And I think that's just what makes us really good, is that we're able to have these talks and just reset and focus on what's ahead.
It was crazy that you were able to pull Ascent back, because we saw FaZe with their classic aggression take that momentum and make the game their own. We've seen other top teams in NA like Envy be just absolutely crumble against that pressure and not be able to take it back. But we did not see that from the Sentinels, and you were able to claw it back in that second half. What was it like? What were you saying to your team, and how were you able to bring it back when that chaos set in, which is what FaZe relishes in?
FaZe are playing a lot like we used to during the Ignition series, and we were like kind of dominating those tournaments. Really aggressive, just taking space, constantly pushing. It took us a lot to learn how to play slow, take the rounds really, really slow, stay passive, not take space even when we think we could. And that kind of play style and slowing it down versus a team like FaZe is just like the solution, at least for us, is like we let them waste their utility, we let them take the space, and then we just take it back from them and just starve them of any info that they had. And we just stuck to our game plan that we usually have versus them, and it works out again.
I think one of the craziest things about all of the success that you've had at this tournament, to remind everyone, you were playing with 10s with 0 practice. And to have had the result that you have had is just absolutely ridiculous. So with that being said, just knowing that what we've seen isn't even your final form, given more practice, I'm sure you guys will evolve even more. What can we expect from the Sentinels moving forward this year?
We're only gonna get better. The future's not decided yet. We're just focused on this tournament as it comes to our team. But we're gonna continue to stay on top, and with more practice and hopefully fewer setbacks, we'll stay there.
All right. Well, last but not least, Shazam, there's no doubt that you and the team continue to set the bar for everybody. You guys are a true inspiration, you yourself, as well as the in-game leader. Any final words for all of the fans out there?
Just a huge thank you. The support this tournament has been insane. All the appreciation on social media, on the Reddit, it means a lot to all of us. It goes a long way. So thank you guys.
Well, thank you so much, Shazam, for the games that you showed all of us. And congratulations once again on being the champions here at NA Masters. I'm sure we'll be seeing you very, very soon. For now, back to Bach at the desk. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Smix. Like she said, we'll be seeing him very soon, because again, even though Masters 1 is now wrapped, we've still got more play coming up because VCT is not done yet. But before we talk about that, Belly, final thoughts as we get ready to wrap up Masters 1.
I was double muted. All right, first off, shout out to Shaz. This just keeps happening to me. Shout out to Shaz. Shout out to everybody on Sentinels. Shout out to the Oregon GM. For the Oregon GM, this is for you. He says that he can't wait to see us again soon, and I hope we see everyone on that roster. And with that being said, just in case it's taking you guys too long to do it, in order to get 10s on the roster, me and the whole analyst desk, we want to help out. Make sure you pay 10s everything he's worth. Get this team together, because what we saw so far, it was stardom, man. It was super stardom. This story you don't hear from anywhere else. Lights out performance. And I saw on Reddit not too long ago that there were just no expectations for this team. And the fact that they just came out the gate swinging, man, pay the man. get that buyout done. The Sentinels roster is historic so far, and I cannot wait to see what happens with the next challengers and masters.
Potter, final thoughts before we throw things to a close.
Oh man, I don't have quite as much oomph as Veli does. I don't have as much to say as that. I'm just thankful to be here. I'm glad that we got to see such good Valorant play coming up. And I think, we still have a lot of questions. I think in 6 months from now, in a year from now, we're going to see a whole different, even more competitive Valorant. And I think that's what's even more exciting.
Yeah.
Man, Silly, does the dog want to say anything?
You want to say anything? Oh, he's telling me that he had a great weekend. Actually, the past 2 weekends have been amazing, if not the month and a half, right? It was 128 teams in North America, 3 stages of challengers, and we came down to this, and we saw nothing but great competition for Valorant. And again, I've mentioned good storylines. I want these to continue. It's happening so soon. It's around the corner, man. I'm just blessed to be here, and I'm blessed for all the teams that are working hard to give us such great games.
Let's take one final look at the bracket here so you can see these teams' runs through the bracket play. Again, FaZe came in from the lower bracket. What's up, Shazam? How's it going?
Looking good, man.
FaZe coming up from that lower bracket. Despite the heavy run early on, they had to get knocked down by Sentinels and then again by Sentinels. Technically, they did play a best of 5 across 2 series. Sentinels won 5-0. Sentinels just looked so incredibly good. FaZe came out swinging against Xset. They surprised us all in that Envy game. I think that's when we really started to wake up on what this team was capable of. Sure, they fell short in that series against Sentinels in the upper finals. They crushed Gen G in the lower finals as well. They came back. We were hoping for revenge, but the story just doesn't end up coming to fruition. But just because Sentinels won today does not mean they are the victors forever. This is just stage 1. Stage 2 is right around the corner. This is just the beginning. We've only just cracked the surface of what is happening in North American Valorant. You can see we'll be switching to stage 2 April 1st through 4th. That's right around the corner.
It ain't no April Fools. It's happening in 2 weeks.
It's happening in 2 weeks, and these teams will be competing, and I'm curious to see how FaZe does as they get more time to adopt this play style that's been working for them over the last couple of weeks. But that does wrap things up for us here on the desk and here for us at NA Masters 1. Appreciate you guys at home. Appreciate all the support. Big shout out to production and the team at Riot Games for making this all possible. And we'll see you for stage 2.